This video is a simple introduction to configuring Eigrp for IPv6. So we have three routers, RT1, RT2 connected through RTR. Each one of these routers has already been configured with IPv6 addresses to serial interface as well as to its loopback 0 interface. So for example, let's start with RT1. Let me just show you that the IPv6 addresses have been configured. So I'll show IPv6 interface brief. Okay, and here we are. So serial 010 and serial and the loopback 0 interface. So they already assigned with IPv6 addresses. So let's go to RT2. Same story here. Show IPv6 interface brief. All right, so we have IPv6 address assigned to the serial interface and loopback 0 interface. Let's go to RTR, show IPv6 interface brief, and here we are. So we have the serial interfaces like this, plus the loopback 0 interface. Good. Now, let's see how we can configure the Eigrp for IPv6. And of course, here we are going to use autonomous system number 100. So this number here should be configured in all the routers for them to exchange their routing information. So let's start with RT1. Okay, so very simple. Let's go to the global configuration mode, and I will go to the loopback 0. I want loopback 0 interface to participate in the Eigrp process, Eigrp routing for IPv6. So I will type the command IPv6. Now we can see what's below this command. We have Eigrp here. You see, this is Eigrp, so we can simply put Eigrp. So we are enabling Eigrp for IPv6, and here we have to specify the autonomous system number. In our case, let's agree on 100, number 100. So do we have something else to add? No. Well, before we start that, we should do something very important, which is enable the IPv6 Unicast routing. After that, let's go back to the loopback 0 interface, and here we are. We just enable Eigrp for IPv6 on that loopback 0 interface. We go also to the other interface, which is the serial 0/1/0, as you see here, 0/1/0, and then we enable the Eigrp for IPv6 on that interface. So we have done that. Good. Everything works fine. Now let's go back to running configuration. After we configured these interfaces to work Eigrp under those interfaces, so they will participate in the Eigrp for IPv6 routing process. Okay, we check here. We notice something here is that the iOS of the router will create this automatically. So it will create this entry automatically, IPv6 router Eigrp 100. Now, if you want to make the Eigrp for IPv6 routing work, you have to enable it. So what we should do in this case, by default, it's shut down. So if you want to enable it, you have to go to the IPv6 router Eigrp 100 configuration mode, and from here you can type, you can enable it by typing no shutdown, no shutdown. So let's go back now and see if it has been enabled, right? This is the case here, no shutdown. So the Eigrp process for IPv6 has been enabled. This is a must. If you don't do that, nothing will work. So I do the same thing with RT2. Again, I go to the global configuration mode. The first thing I do is enable the IPv6 Unicast routing, then go to loopback 0 interface, loopback 0 interface. From here I type IPv6 Eigrp, and then the autonomous system number. I go now to the other serial interface, serial 0/2/0, and type the same command. Of course, you will notice the same thing as before in RT1, is that you have an entry which was added automatically by the iOS of the router. So we have to enable this Eigrp for IPv6. Okay, so let's type IPv6 router Eigrp 100 no shutdown. So now it is enabled, and you can see all the commands which are below this routing protocol configuration. So everything works fine, right? Now let's go to RTR. Let's go to RTR. From here also, we go to global configuration mode. And in this mode, actually, we are going to go to, we have to enable the IPv6 Unicast routing protocol, interface loopback 0, IPv6, Eigrp, and autonomous system number. Now I will select each one of the serial interfaces which are connected to the neighboring router. All right. Okay, something like this. Now Eigrp is enabled on all interfaces of the router. I do similar thing. I check routing table, all the running configuration, and find that there is the IPv6 router Eigrp 100 entry, which is created automatically. I just need to enable it. All right, so IPv6 router Eigrp 100, no shutdown. So you see now, once I put no shutdown, neighbor relationship is established between, or adjacency is established between RTR and RTR1 and RTR and RTR2. So after that, I go to RT1. You see, adjacency is established. So let me just type the IPv6, display the IPv6 routing table. All right. We can also just specify the what we call this, show IPv6 route Eigrp. All right. Okay, in this case, it's not really, with IPv6, it doesn't work, but anyway, we can just simply type the, or display routing table. Here we are. Same thing here, RT2. I can display the routing table to IPv6 route. Okay, routing table is here. You see we have those entries related to Eigrp advertisement, or advertisement of routes initiated by Eigrp for IPv6 routing protocol. And finally, we have the show IPv6, show IPv6 route. All right, so everything works fine. Same entries here. So if I go to RT1, and then from RT1, I try to ping. So from RT1, I ping to loopback 0 interface of RT2, 2003, colon 2, colon 2, colon 2, double colon 1. Yeah, it works fine. I can also trace route to the same. Okay, so this is the inbound interface on RTR, which is serial 010, and then this is the target router where this IP address is configured. But in this case, we see only the inbound serial interface of RT2, so everything works fine. We can also try to display show IPv6 Eigrp, and we see all the options underneath, so it can identify all the interfaces involved in the Eigrp for IPv6 process. We can also display the neighbors, right? So we have one neighbor. We can display also the topology table, all right? Topology table from where you get the successor route, which is the the best route to the destination. And finally, we can see the traffic, how much traffic is available. So we can cover this hopefully in one of my next videos. But for now, just we see about the basic Eigrp for IPv6 configuration on Cisco routers. So it seems that everything works fine. So thank you for watching this video.